UFC Qatar, Arman Sarukian versus Dan Hooker just wrapped up, and Arman Sarukian had a dominant performance. Round two, arm triangle submission. Dominant performance, dominant on the ground, dominant on the feet. He basically walked through Dan Hooker. He walked through him, which is what he needed to do to be able to just get some momentum back on his side, just so people to get off his back a little bit, because all the pressure was on Arman, and everybody knew that. All the pressure was on him to have a great performance, to show up, to make it to the fight, all that stuff, and he showed up and he performed. As far as the fight, I mean, there's not much I can say because it went how it should have gone, with Arman showing up, Of course, Dan Hooker, he could surprise us all, but knowing Arman's skill set, what he's done in the UFC so far, it's expected and it was needed that he go out and have that type of performance where he dominated on the feet and especially on the ground with the ground and pound opening up. And for anybody who doesn't understand what people say when they talk about boring, this is one of the things people want to see, because if you're somebody who doesn't grapple, which, I mean, a lot of the casual audience does not grapple, and I would argue that even if they did, they probably grapple on a casual level. So you can sit there and watch Islam and JDM and know what's going on and have an idea what's happening. But yeah, people ground and pound, like that's how you do it. And not to rack too much on that, but it was a great performance. It was a dominant performance. He walked through him, and he should get the next title shot for sure. I want to see him versus Illia. It would be an exciting fight. I still favor Illia. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it was a great fight. Not much I can really say about it. So I'm gonna move on to the co-main event, because I was much more invested in the co-main event. I'm not really invested in Arman Sarukian, I'm gonna be real. But it was a great performance, and he did his thing. But the co-main event, Bilal Muhammad versus Ian Machado Gary. Ian got it done. I picked him to get it done, and I wanted him to get it done. And he did. He did that. He got a decision over Bilal Muhammad. I know he was talking like he was gonna knock him out. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to. If he would have knocked out Bilal, especially in the first round, it would have surprised me. A late round TKO, nah, because I thought there were 5 rounds of this fight. I ain't gonna lie, I thought there were 5 rounds, but I found out a couple days ago it was only 3. But I think if this was a 5-rounder, I would favor like a late TKO for Ian Gary, because he's not a first round type of finisher. Like I feel like if Ian Gary's gonna finish anybody, it's gonna be, after putting some damage on him. But he did his thing. He was working his jab. The low kick was, I feel like, the best weapon that was implemented in this fight. Bilal couldn't do anything about the low kicks. He was stomping at the leg, low kicking at the leg. Didn't throw as many kicks up high as I would have expected, but maybe that's just because, Ian Gary is the taller guy, and Bilal Muhammad being the shorter guy, throwing head kicks like that, especially with a guy looking for takedowns, just probably didn't want to risk that. But with that being said, Bilal Muhammad did good, but I also feel like Ian Gary, certain things he were doing, I'm like, hopefully you're not going to do this against Islam, because you can't get away with, you just can't get away with that same stuff. Like, for example, the main thing for me that at least I noticed was him, trying to pull his head back, pulling his head back out of range. And there were a couple times where Bilal Muhammad's touching him on, he's touching him on the chin because he's just pulling his head back. And that's never, if you've watched enough, pulling your head back is just not a good habit. And especially since you're getting touched up like that, it's like, why I was literally worried. I'm like, bro, do not get dropped, because Ian Gary, he has a small head. So I'm like, bro, do not get dropped off of a Bilal Muhammad punch, because you keep fucking pulling because he's pulling his head back, but he's still at the end of his punches. Like, there were some times where he's, moving his head back and he's moving out the way, but there were too many times where it came close or he's getting hit on the chin. I don't remember what round and what exact punch, but there was a punch where he like connected clean because Ian Machado got his hands down and he's just pulling his head back. Not a habit I like, especially if you are, I think he should get the next title shot, and that's just something you cannot do. Because one thing, Islam is just a different level, So, and I'm sure he understands that, but certain habits I just didn't like. That being one of them, just pulling your head back like that. I just didn't like that. But it was a good performance for him. I think it was pretty good. It's just Ian Gary. He's good, but he's good, but also like there's like, for example, with the strike, he doesn't have any. I think it's like his finishing abilities. Because I was about to say like, because I don't want to say there's like a hole in his game, but I guess him not having the finishing ability or a stronger finishing ability could be considered as a hole to some, I guess, as a hole in his game. But I think that's the main thing with me for Ian Gary. I feel like, and yes, Bilal Muhammad has a great chin. That's why I didn't think he was gonna get KO'd, because he took some heavy shots off of JDM. But not Islam. Ian Machado Gary. He doesn't have sting in his punches. I would have liked to see more body work in this fight. I feel like, the body work wasn't, he was touching with the jab, but I think some body work would have been cool. Yeah, he just doesn't have a lot of pop in his shots. Like, he doesn't have a lot of power behind his shots. He's gotten some finishes, I know, but at least at the high level, his punches just don't, I don't know. And there's no like respect factor. Like, he's good everywhere. Like, his takedown defense is solid. I don't think Bilal even came close to getting the takedown. He didn't get him down at all. We know his takedown defense is solid. He defended takedown against Rakhmonov and all that. Even got to his back. His grappling is very solid. I just think in these positions, what can cost him in close fights, especially since he goes to a lot of decisions, what can cost you in these close fights is just that finishing sequence ability, like to have that, to put it on him. And I just feel like Ian McGarry is a lot of touch to get rounds instead of like really putting damage on opponents. You know what I mean? I feel like it's, even though he's really good everywhere, I feel like he never really imposes his skill anywhere, if that makes sense. Like, even in the striking, because he was better, and we know this, he's a better striker than Bilal Muhammad, but I never felt like there was a moment in round one, kinda, and maybe there was a moment where he kind of started getting some stuff off. He landed kind of like a front kick. There was a sequence where he was kind of flowing a little bit, but I feel like he never imposes himself in a fight, like whether that's, in the striking or when he gets people to the ground. It always stays too close. I feel like it always stays closer than it should be with Ian Gary. Like, even though he has these advantages and he's better clearly here, like, he was better than Bilal in every area. Bilal couldn't get him down. He could, even in the clinch, I feel like he was better than Bilal. So even though he's good everywhere, he's a great fighter, and I don't think he beats Islam. I just think Islam is just different right now. Like, I don't see anybody beating Islam right now. I don't think he beats Islam, but I think he gives him a good fight. But he just doesn't impose his will, I guess, or his skill set in any particular area. And it's always like his fights are closer than they should be. I always get that feeling. Even though I feel like he did win this fight, it wasn't like, it was a good fight and it was competitive, but I feel like his fights are always closer than it should be. But with that being said, it was a great card, a lot of finishes, and obviously the time being what it was, as an American, helped me out because, I got to be awake and happy in the morning with these fights. So it was a great card. Arman Sarukian got it done. There was a lot of finishes, a lot of finishes, submissions, KOs, not that many decisions. I might do a video where I go over some of the other fights, but I just wanted to cover main event, co-main event. Yeah, and that was it. It was a great card. So, hey, y'all, peace out, like and subscribe.